another, well, this is a Sunday night live stream because yesterday was 9/11, and I just really didn't feel like it was appropriate to try to live stream on 9/11, so here we are tonight. And Sean did an amazing live stream earlier for the museum. If you guys didn't catch that, I would highly suggest you go and watch the replay of that. um, I'm going to give folks a couple minutes to get in here. I'm going to make a real quick post on YouTube that the live stream has started, because I know how my notifications work, or that they don't, I guess I should say. Alright. Get myself, there we go. Take me just a second. And then, hello Phoenix, and there's Booger Butt and History Savior, what's up? Make this post real quick. No, cat. Go on. Go on. Go on. Okay. So tonight's going to be pretty interesting. I'll start off by saying that. Before I get into the food aspect of this, I still want to give folks a couple more minutes to gather in here. Before I hit this point, I think I can go ahead.
The best way to experience something in life is for yourself. And Firestone
Are the ads playing? I can go ahead and make a post in the chat to a GoFundMe link. Now, this is not something I would typically do, and you guys know that. And it's not something that the person that asked me to do this would ever ask me to do. It's just something that's very out of the ordinary. That's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and post this link real quick to the GoFundMe, which is what it is. And it's Gabe. Gabe's really good friend, his mom. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail, but there is I think Gabe made a real quick video over on his channel about this, so you can get even more detail over there. But one of Gabe's really good friends growing up, his mom has gotten the COVID D variant, I believe. Anyways, she's definitely got it bad. She's in the ICU right now. She's the breadwinner for the house, and they're on the verge of losing the house because she is in the hospital. And her son, Gabe's friend, lives out of state and has had to come back and take care of two disabled children. So that it's definitely a rough situation. And all I can say is the GoFundMe's up there. If you guys would be kind enough to check that out, and if you was going to super chat something, maybe go do that instead, and let us know here in the chat, and I will definitely recognize that. And I'll mention this a couple more times at least throughout. And I know Gabe was really adamant about saying that they're really good people. They're not people that I know, but I take Gabe's word for it. Like I said, this is not something that Gabe would typically come up to me and bring up. So that's where I'm at with that. I did just put a link to the GoFundMe in the... no, I didn't. Hang on. Thought I did. It's not letting me for some reason. Interesting. Let me try again. There it is. Okay. Maybe it... Okay, yeah, it didn't let me do it before. It did let me do it that time. So, the link is right there. It's also at the very top of my description, if you guys want to check that out. Now, tonight, the goal is to eat, or at least try to eat, some 34 or 35-year-old macaroni and cheese. I don't know the exact date, but I can tell you that on the back, that these cards have 1986 their averages for the year. No, get out from underneath there. Cat. Anyways, the History Savior, thank you so much for that, and I will definitely do that. I will pass that along, my friend. You have my word on that. And Miss Renee, a couple weeks ago, she sent in $20 to go towards another person that we have that's no longer with us here, that was a regular in the live streams, and I'm still trying to figure out where exactly I'm going to send that to, but I haven't forgotten. So, hey Dan, what's going on, buddy? But as I was saying, the stats for these guys, which Jose Canseco is one of them on there, and real quick, I'll just take you guys loose. And you can see on my wall over here, this bat right here, it's also signed by Jose Canseco. So I was a big fan of Canseco back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, whenever I was still playing baseball myself. Well, thank you, Mr. Gusto, RC Gusto there, and he just said, donated, screw COVID, get your shot, he said. And Booger Butt just came in and said, pass along this also, please. Well, thank you so much, and I'm also going to be going over there and making a donation myself. So, and Miss Sunshine says, also, and wow, you guys are killing it. If you guys don't mind, go ahead and go directly over there to the GoFundMe and let me know here in the chat. That way, Google doesn't take such a high percentage of it, because that's just how super chats work. They take in my opinion, a huge cut of what you guys send in. And but yeah, man, thank you guys so much for all your generosity there, and it'll be I'll be passing that along for sure. All right, I need to start in on some history here, because Kraft macaroni and cheese is actually got a really interesting history and past, and it does tie into Rations, World War One. Kraft cheese, it was a big part in World War One. That's kind of really whenever they got a lot of contracts, made a lot of money. And then in World War II also, that Kraft macaroni and cheese, the box dinners, were around during World War II. Not for very long had they been around, but during World War II, Kraft macaroni and cheese really was a big staple. I mean, not only in our households here in America, but also overseas in the guys in the mess halls, I should say. So, it's slightly different from what I typically do. It's not pulling out a ration and looking at a ration, which I do have one over here on standby just in case, depending on how this whole thing goes. I do have a fresh one here. I mean, this is a 2021 production, I'm pretty sure. I would say it is. Oh, yeah, there we go. Best one used by April 11th, 2022. So this was probably produced in probably June. From what I can tell, they're giving it a 10-month shelf life, which is the same shelf life that it's had since its start, which is a pretty interesting fact. 1987, which this may be a 1987 meal, would have been the 50th anniversary of Kraft macaroni and cheese. Got it started in 1937. James Lewis Kraft is the guy that came up with the way to process cheese, which they basically spray dried the cheese. That's what they still do today. Hey, Smitty, thanks so much, dude, for doing that, man. I appreciate the heck out of that. Wow, man. Thank you so much, dude. And if anybody else wants to follow in Smitty's footsteps, that's definitely the way to go right there. And Gabe's in the chat right now. Thanks you guys tremendously. Like I said, typically this is not something that I would typically do, but Gabe would not ask me to do something like this if it didn't make sense. Anyways, back in 1937 is whenever Kraft macaroni and cheese came about. But the reason that it came about is because there was a fella named, his name was Grant Leisure, I think it's Leisure or Leshire, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. He was going door to door, and he was selling boxes of elbow macaroni with a pouch of Kraft spray dried cheese powder rubber banded to the outside of the box. Well, Mr. James Lewis Kraft heard about this somehow through the grapevine, heard that there was a guy going door to door selling this stuff, like selling his product with elbow macaroni, going around selling it like that. So he set up a meeting with Mr. Grant and basically bought the idea from him and started putting the pouch of cheese inside the box. And the first time that appeared, 1937. So 1937, as you guys probably already know, was not long after the Great Depression had ended. We were still not doing all that great. We were about midway through the rebound, I would say, and there was a lot of people that were struggling, and I'm not going to say they were poor, but they were broke. They didn't have a good outlook on more money coming in. So a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese promised that they could feed a family of 4 for 19 cents, and it could be done in just minutes. So from the time that it started being prepared to the time it hit the table was just a few minutes. I think 9 minutes, and 19 cents for the box. So it hit a lot of high points for people that were struggling throughout the Great Depression and after the Great Depression. So it was a perfect timing. And that's another thing. Kraft macaroni and cheese kind of thrives when America's going through harder times, such as 2019 and 2020. Well, 2020 mainly. Whenever we were going through the pandemic, they seen a huge spike in their sales. A lot of people stuck at home, and money was getting tight, so a lot of people were eating Kraft macaroni and cheese again. So let's see, where am I at here? So after 1937, you got to think World War II is coming up pretty quick. I mean, 4 years after the creation of this, 1941, we're heavily into the heart of World War II, and Kraft seen an opportunity basically and took advantage of it. They were selling, millions and millions of boxes here at home, and they were also supplying the boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese, just like similar to this, to the troops. So this stuff was going and feeding guys overseas, as well as a lot of the women were being put into the workplace that wasn't typical at that time. So a lot of the women were working in bomb factories and uniform factories and all kinds of different jobs. So they didn't spend as much time at home. So therefore they weren't exactly homemakers anymore. So they had to come up with quicker ways to make meals. And again, this fit a really big slot into in a need that they had. So again, this picked up and became an essential. And of course, kids came to love it. It's kind of been a meal that's somewhat been more targeted to kids and the younger generations, college era kids and younger. So let's see. As of today, like right now, they sell over 1 million boxes of this every single day. So I guess it'd be this one. They sell 1 million of these boxes every single day. So they're not doing bad, but they have went through some changes and some struggles. See, back in 2013, Kraft announced that they were going to be taking the food coloring out of their Kraft singles, which is not really what we're talking about here, but that is another big staple product of Kraft, is the Kraft singles. Over 40% of American households still use Kraft singles. And I'll be honest, if you're going to make a cheeseburger at home or something, you can't really beat a Kraft single. Nothing else tastes like a Kraft single on a burger. I think that's what they use at McDonald's, but I could be wrong. But it sure is what it tastes like to me. Let's see here. Well, like I was mentioning earlier, how this became a staple during World War II. This is something that the guys brought back a taste for. So after 1945, the guys coming home like actually wanted to eat this because everybody just kind of liked it, and it was an easy meal for everybody. And back in 2016 is another interesting little fact that Kraft Macaroni and Cheese removed the food coloring from the mac and cheese, not just the Kraft singles. It took another 3 years, I guess, for them to remove. They use yellow 5 and yellow 6, but yellow 5, I've actually had an encounter with yellow 5 myself. I had kidney stones back whenever I was 16. The doctor said that it was caused from yellow 5 from drinking too much Mountain Dew back then, and that's the same stuff that they were using in here. But in 2016, they changed over to where they're using paprika and something else, another spice, in place of the artificial food coloring. And now it's, look, no artificial flavors, no artificial preservatives, and no artificial dyes. That's a big advertiser that they have on there. But they didn't advertise this back in 2016. They did not want people to realize that they had changed the formula. So basically, they just changed it overnight and just sat back and waited to see what was going to happen. They waited to see if people were going to complain, that it tastes different, look different, whatever. And nobody said anything. There was never any fuss made over the big change, because that's a huge change. I mean, when you're talking about getting all your color, which no cheese naturally is yellow. No cheese is yellow. It's not supposed to be yellow. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting, though. I thought that was a really cool point. Timothy Gibney says, "Hey, Smokey, I had one from 2016 and the sauce packet delaminated and it turned into rotten milk." Ooh, really? A 2016 Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, huh? Was it the wet cheese type, like the Kraft Dinner, what we call it, Kraft Dinner here, was like shells and cheese, which has the liquid cheese in it? I'm curious because this one right here is the one we're going to be going for first. And when we go over here and look at the ingredients list, which is right here, you're going to see the cheese sauce mix, which is dehydrated cheese, granular cheddar. It's milk, cheese culture, and salt. So salt's really what gave it the shelf life. And the shelf life back in 1937 was 10 months. And back in 1937, people didn't really have refrigerators. Like, very few people had refrigerators in 1937. So being able to have a meal like this that could last for 10 months, you didn't just have to get it and cook it immediately, was also a huge selling point. And another thing I'll mention really quick about the rationing is back during World War II, there were meat shortages, there were dairy shortages, there were all kinds of shortages going on. And if you went and took your ration stamps, your little individual ration stamps or tokens, you could get 2 boxes of Kraft Macaroni and Cheese for 1 ration stamp, which was an amazing deal for the amount of protein and, actually the amount of food that you were getting. Not only that, it had the shelf life. So it had this extended shelf life over a lot of other items. So that's another reason why it became so popular. But as I was mentioning, this does have, straight up milk in it and cheese culture. And also down here, we see skim milk, buttermilk, and those are the 2 that really concern me. There's your yellow 5, which is no longer in it, thank goodness. But how do I want to open this thing? I'm trying to see, it's already got a little slit at the top right here, which doesn't really concern me. It's just dried macaroni in there. And I did manage to get, actually I sent my son after this, and got the matching brand new fresh version. And something that's kind of interesting is they're the exact same weight. And you'll see a lot of companies that cut corners, in my opinion. instead of raising the price slightly on their product, they'll make their product smaller. They'll take some of the product out, and instead of it being 5.5 ounces, they'll make it, you know, what, 5 ounces, and then they'll go down to 4.5 ounces, something like that. I just think that sucks. You're getting a whole lot less product for your money. All right, if you want to do that, just raise the price slightly and let us decide whether we still want to buy it for that price or not. I just seen Gusto came in with a super chat, a few more bucks because I've missed the past couple weeks and because I love mac and cheese. That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much, Gusto. I think a lot of people are right there with you. Mac and cheese doesn't have to be a super budget meal. It can also be a gourmet meal. I mean, you can make mac and cheese into just about anything that you want. So, and something else before I get too deep into this, after we do this, and I do have a ration here on standby from 2001, a 9/11 era MRE sitting over here on standby. Here, I'll grab it real quick to show y'all. I actually got this from Sour West. I know a lot of you guys probably don't remember him, but he was a community member in the MRE community, MREinfo.com, and he was from West Virginia, so we kind of had that going on in common. He sent this to me a long time ago, and I've never found an appropriate use for the 2001, so it's jambalaya, menu number 22. Sounds like a drink mix flopping around in there. And then I also have this, just in case. I got some yellow curry, Mountain House Adventure Meals, yellow curry. This is a newer addition to the menu list at Mountain House. This is yellow curry with chicken, rice, well, chicken and rice. So this is right up my alley of something that I really, really enjoy. Don't text and hike. Okay. But right now, we need to get the stove out first. Let's get some water going. It shouldn't take too long because I have water that is super hot. So we'll use that water. Make sure I get this thing folded all the way out. Shocker yelled at me last time that I didn't get it unfolded all the way. Oh, those actually do fold out more. They're just really stiff. Ugh, they actually lock in place. Okay. I've never folded it out that far. Cool. All right. Get my fuel here. Get it hooked up. Let's get fired up. I was going to use a mess kit, but I've decided against that. Just because I know it'll stick if I do. The can is dirty. There we go. Alright, let's get this thing fired up. And that thing starts nice and easy. We'll mess with the heat here in just a second. Alright, the old one, I'm going to use this nice ceramic coated pot so we can really see what's going on inside of there. Now, we're going to follow these directions to a T. There is a proper way to make macaroni and cheese like this. I've found out from my research, and this box right here does give you the proper instructions on how to make it right here. Suggested prep, and then down here is your cooking instructions. Number 1's boil the water, and we need how much? 6 ounces, I thought. You only cook the macaroni for 6 to 8 minutes, and I got to go drain it. Wait, how much water? There we go. 6 cups. 6 cups? Really? Huh. No way. There's no way that takes 6 cups. Did I read that wrong? 6 cups of water. 2 tablespoons of margarine. 6 cups of water? That is so much water. I don't need a bigger pan than that. Alright, I guess I'm just going to go get water. I'm not going to use it. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a lot of water. And I don't want to use up all my boiled water. I do have water in there on the stove. I'll just go get it. Let me go get 6 cups of water real quick, and I'll be right back. Interesting. add some more water to that in there for me? I left my measuring cup in there. All right, here we go. 6 cups of water. Now we got to get it up to a boil. I'm going to super crank it up because, like I said, I mean this was boiling whenever I just got it, so that should be quite helpful to our cause here. Just going and checking my super chats. Had macaroni as a child, had a hair in it which triggered an asthma attack, and I ended up in the hospital. Could not eat it for years after that. Dan, cyanide cookies had a bad incident with with macaroni and cheese as a child. Well, thank you for that super chat, Dan. I super appreciate that, man. Holy cow, and that sucks that you had that, because a lot of people, man, myself included, I do like some good macaroni and cheese every now and again. I wouldn't say I'm a macaroni and cheese aficionado by any stretch of the word, but I have enjoyed macaroni and cheese throughout my entire life. I mean, I'm sure it was fed to me as a baby. As soon as I could eat solid food, that's probably one of the first things I had, actually. As well as my children, one of the first things they had, I'm sure, was macaroni and cheese, Kraft macaroni and cheese. My oldest son used to like to eat those, the little bowls, the little instant bowls, a lot, called Easy Mac. You know, it's interesting because you would think that macaroni and cheese would be a lot more popular in America than it is anywhere else, and actually it's not. Canada is where the Kraft macaroni and cheese is the most popular. And maybe I should open this at the top. I just don't want to mess the box up, so let me see if I can get... Nope, I'm going at it from the bottom. Let me see if I can get my knife in here. But Canada is, it's actually their country's meal. It's their, whatever they called it, their, what's it called? I can't remember if they called it the state's meal, or... I really don't want to tear this box up. But it is, man, this thing is glued really good. It's just going to have to be ripped some. That's just all there is to it. I'm interested to see how this cheese has held up throughout the years. And take a good look at our pasta. We're at a rolling boil now, so it only takes 6 to 8 minutes at a rolling boil. Oh no, it's got a pinhole. Dang it. That is bad news right there. Maybe that's not, yeah, it's probably a hole. Daggone it, look at that. Goes all the way through the daggone thing. That has definitely ruined the cheese sauce, I'm sure of it. Let's take a look at the pasta noodles. So you'll notice that a lot, well, not so much on this where it's older, but a new box, you'll see like a white powder on it, which is basically just a food starch that helps it to not boil over in your pot. Okay, this has zero smell whatsoever. It smells like cardboard. That's it. I don't smell any of the old cheese in there or anything. And I think I managed to not damage the actual card at all, which is good. Alright, I'm going to dump this pasta in and off to the races. There it is. My box is steaming. Alright. Well, I can put a little piece of glue underneath there, right here and right here, and make that look right again. I could even put fill it up with a box of new pasta so it would feel right and look right. because I'm sure there's not too many of these still left floating around that were sealed, which this one isn't any longer and wouldn't be. Oh, I need to go get something to stir this with, or it's going to stick to the pot. I can smell the pasta. It's got a really distinct smell. Give it a quick stir. I think I need to. Well, no, it's still got a rolling boil to it. Kick it up a little bit more. Now, I meant to say earlier, I will, after we do this, we'll do a little bit of a American food trivia, just to kind of make things a little bit more fun tonight. That should spice it up a little bit. I did throw an old backboard down here, so I didn't have to worry about making a mess too bad. This cheese sauce definitely concerns me. I mean, it's leaking out of there. You can see it in my hand. My experience, if they give this 10 months of a shelf life, I mean, it'd probably last a solid 10 years. But that right there looks like a bug hole, which doesn't really scare me too much. It almost looks burnt, though, also. Look, stop. Go on. It's weird how it goes all the way through it. It's like it, I don't know, maybe a noodle poked all the way through there. What could have done that? I really don't know. It's kind of interesting. I really didn't expect to see anything like this. I could see some delamination going on. Oh man. Yeah, that's just, it's wanting to come out of there. So I better quit messing with it. I have a feeling it's going to be, I mean, it does have a little bit of a smell to it. The cheese sauce does. Let me check it again. Let me smell it again. Kind of, yeah. It smells a bit recognizable to me. It almost, it does have a scent of old MRE cheese spread. That rotten cheese smell. It almost has like a burnt scent to it also. I don't understand that part of it. Lothar 900 says, wouldn't eat that, food poisoning. I see another. Please don't eat that cheese powder. Well, I at least got to try it. I'm not going to say I'm going to sit here and eat a whole bowl of it, but I got to at least try it. The noodles are looking absolutely outstanding. So as soon as these get done, which should be, I didn't check the time. Anybody check the time when I put these in, by any chance? Because I did not. And thank you for that super chat, by the way. Who sent that super chat? Let me get back up here. Curious Entertainment said, please don't eat that cheese powder. Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand why you would say that. And I would probably agree with your assessment. But in the name of science, got to give it a try at least. I mean, I'm going all the way and cooking this all the way, which I just got a noodle. I think the noodles are done. They feel al dente to me right now, just about right. Yeah. Look at that. That, I've heard, that means that the pasta is done, right? Isn't that what that means? It's pretty cool, though, right? Cyanide Cookie says, eat the cheese, eat the cheese, eat the cheese. I will definitely give the cheese a try, though. Shot of whiskey kills everything. I do have a couple old beers in there I meant to get. I'll have to go get those here in just a second. One's from 1997. I've had another one of the six-pack that Gabe actually gave me before. What is that? Oh, no. Oh, no. What is that? You guys see that? What do you guys think that is? No. Come here. You want to see? It's a bug. It's a weevil. It's a beetle. Whatever. That is definitely a beetle. So that might be the culprit of our hole. Well, about 90% sure that's the culprit of our hole. Okay, now, yeah, I'm getting rid of that because I don't want that. I don't technically want to eat that. All right, I'm going to go drain this pasta, and then I'll be right back. I think I can turn the heat off. Whoop, wrong way. Go drain this pasta off, and then we'll come back and we'll finish making it. We've got to add butter and milk, stir it up. Really nice black ring in the pot. This is weird. What particles? Alright. Well, other than this, which I don't know what that is, I can only guess that that could be bug particles. I mean, just in all honesty, that could be little beetle particles. We're going to get some butter here. Maybe a quarter. Was it quarter of a cup? Oops, that's the wrong box. That's new. Nope, 2 tablespoons of butter. So, 2 tablespoons. Cut that off of there. There we go. And then we need 3 tablespoons of milk, which is Not that much, right? I'm going to bet that spoon right there is pretty close to a tablespoon size. Use that. 1, 2, 3. I'll just go for a little bit more, just for good measure there. Alright, get my MRE spoon here. Let's give this a stir. You're supposed to stir in the butter and the milk until every noodle is coated with said butter. Yeah, this should be interesting. Mac and cheese has always been a favorite of mine. And then a semi-regular staple of the girls' diet when Mrs. G wasn't around and I had to cook, no doubt. Yeah, it's definitely an easy meal for guys to cook, right? There's something that's going on. I don't want to talk too much on this because I really don't know the facts behind it, and it's very disputed about there being something in macaroni and cheese that's not good for kids and pregnant women, and it's something starts with a G. I can't remember what it's called, but they got some sort of class action lawsuit going on right now, and it's a joke in my opinion. There's going to be crap like that in so many other foods and stuff that I don't know. But I do think that macaroni and cheese, even though this isn't the classic elbow macaroni and cheese, which is what most of us here in America are accustomed to, and I do know that the KD is what's Kraft dinner. KD is what it's been simplified to in Canada. Is which B Temple, Smitty, CT, Canadian Trucker, they can all attest to, I'm sure, that the Kraft macaroni and cheese is very popular up there, but it's not elbows up there, it's straight pieces of macaroni. Alright, I think the butter has melted in. I think it's... Oh yeah, I'm supposed to add salt to it too. Let me see. I know the old one says to add salt. Let me see here. Where's the... yeah, it says 1 teaspoon of salt. Let me go grab some salt real quick. And I'm going to try the macaroni just on its own. Before we go ruining it with with that 35-year-old cheese sauce, cheese powder. All right. Get that mixed in there. Yeah, the old one calls for salt, the new one does not. Here's the directions on the old one real quick. Add macaroni and cheese in 1 teaspoon of salt if desired to 6 cups of boiling water. Stir. Boil rapidly, stirring occasionally 7 to 10 minutes. Or if desired tenderness, drain, add a 1/4 cup of parquet margarine or a 1/4 cup of milk. Or both? No, not both. Add 1/4 cup of parquet margarine, 1/4 cup of milk, and the cheese sauce mix. Mix well. Makes 2 1/4 cups. So yeah, the salt's only on the old one, not the new one. Alright. We're going to be trying some vintage macaroni noodles right now. They actually don't look bad. I mean, they do have a what I would call an off brown tint to them that I don't think they're supposed to really have. Alright, here we go. Down the hatch. That is not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, it's it's right there to be in macaroni and cheese. It's the flavor. The noodles taste perfect with the butter and the salt and the milk. All that almost makes it have a creamy flavor for sure, but almost like a salty, cheesy flavor that's almost, it almost tricks you. Whoa. Daggone it. Well, hang on. I just spilled freaking noodles everywhere. If I don't pick them up right now, I'll kick them. And some of them will get to hide. Alright. I do not have anywhere to put this. You go get a trash bag real quick. Get down. Get down. Cat, get down. You can't be up here right now. Go on. Okay. So yeah, this doesn't taste bad. This doesn't taste bad at all. The noodles, they've held up really well in my opinion. There's no off taste to them. No weirdness there at all. Now, I'm just going to go for it here. And, oh, that is not the color that is supposed to be. That is a dark brown. Looks like dirt. This is definitely oxygen damaged. I mean, so badly. And it smells sour. Oh boy. Boy, does it smell sour. We're going all the way with it, though. Oh my God. Look at that. That is not right, ladies and gentlemen. That is not right. It stinks. It stinks bad. It smells straight up like sour MRE cheese. And now, I would really like to know what this would have been like without the pinhole. Without the hole going all the way through it like it is. That just is not what macaroni and cheese is supposed to look or smell like. I mean, look at the brown. Look at that. Here, let me turn this light off. There. That's a lot better indication on what I'm seeing. The smell is definitely a sour smell. It's not a pleasant odor in the slightest. I'm even picking up some metallic scents in there. I don't know why. Really. If this was me making it and it was right, I would be adding some more milk to this because it's still rather dry. I'm going to just because I want to make it right. I think I can smell that here in Oklahoma. I bet you can, man. I bet you can, because you know exactly that smell that I'm talking about. That sour, like dirty feet, like dirty gym sock smell. That is what is going on here, and this milk is going to hopefully help that disgusting sauce mix up a little better. You know, I'm really anxious to cook a fresh one now, just because I see how bad this is. But I wonder what the difference in the noodles is going to be, if anything. I mean, you know, I've got to try this just because I have to. I don't know that I have to, but I want to, kind of. I want to, but I don't want to, because it does stink. Ladies and gentlemen, if we had smell-o-vision, you'd be clicking off this channel right now. I'm telling you, this is not something. And look at that. Look at. Let me see if I can get it. You see that? It looks like dirt. It looks like muddy, Super muddy water is what it looks like. See that? Or it almost kind of looks like, you ever made chocolate milk powder? And whenever you drink the glass, there will sometimes be like a little bit at the bottom that was encapsulated and it had like a little bit of powder left in it. That's what that looks like in person. And look at that. Alright, well, that's enough stalling. It's time to try it. God. I'm not going balls to the wall here. I'm going to get... I mean, there's no point in eating. I mean, I couldn't, I don't think, actually. I'm going to turn the camera around here. I'm not fooling around. I'm really eating this, but it stinks. It stinks so bad. It really does. It smells just like what I've told you. Very sour. But I would love to have a vintage box, you know, this old or older, where the packet wasn't punctured, just to see if anyway, see if this would still be the same outcome. Here we go. Okay, that wasn't enough. Alright, I'm going for a whole spoonful. Okay, it's gritty. It's sour, but not offensively so. I mean, it tastes like I made macaroni and cheese with MRE cheese spread from the 80s. That's exactly what it tastes like. I mean, it's uncanny how similar those two cheeses age. Well, this one, unfortunately, because of that pinhole, I think, really got it bad. '87 Comanche with the LS swap. I don't know if I've seen that one yet. I know the Jeep with the 4-liter. I saw that one. Gusto. I'm going in for another bite. I mean, I know that this doesn't make sense. It's very mild. It's not offensive in its disgustingness. It's definitely there. And it has a... I'm not going to eat any more of that because I'm afraid of what it might do to me. The macaroni is the best part of it, obviously. It's just got this weird, gritty, sour, almost, if sour could be a texture, this would have it. I've seen the KD flavors, the flavor adder things. Emmy made in Japan, or Emmy made now. I think it's just Emmy made. It's not Emmy made in Japan anymore. It's just Emmy made. I think she changed her channel name because everybody thought she was from Japan. She's not. Huh. It's disgusting. And here's what I can guarantee you. If I was to eat very much more of that, I would have a crippling stomach ache. I mean, crippling. And the sourness also twisted with a little bit of bitterness really highlights the disgusting texture of it. I guess it enhances it because it's almost like I have a sour fume coming up through my nose, if that makes any sense. Like the sourness comes through my mouth and through my nose. But like I said, it's not so bad that it's offensive. I wouldn't want to eat this particular box of mac and cheese because I do think, I don't know what that notification was, because I do think that something, I probably that beetle that we saw on that I don't know what I've done with it, on that stir that I had, the pasta fork thing. That probably was a single beetle that ate through that cheese spread or that cheese powder, and then died in the box of pasta, and I just cooked up the shell. Um, yeah, not horrible, but not good in any sense of the word. Now, real quick, I'm going to flip the camera back around here. We are going to discard this. I'm going to take it to the kitchen. And I'm going to get 6 ounces of water in the new pot, new clean pot. It does have a metallic aftertaste, which I don't understand, because it shouldn't have. There's nothing really, I mean, other than the lining of the cheese packet that's metallic there. Anyway, I'll be right back with a new pot and 6 ounces of new boiling water, and I want to see what the new... You know what? I'm not even going to take this to the kitchen. I'm going to leave it sitting right here so we can compare. You know what? That makes a lot more sense to me right now. Watch out, kitty. Get down, cat. It's hard enough doing this with a crutch, let alone you get in the way while I've got a steaming pot of water in my hand. Come on. Go on. Stupid cat. Okay, you guys that might not have been here earlier, there is a GoFundMe thing that I'm trying to help Gabe out with. One of his childhood friends, his mom's got COVID's in the ICU right now, and if you wanted to do a good deed for the day and maybe donate even $1 or $2 to the GoFundMe link is right at the top of the description, and I'll put a link to it in the chat here in just a minute. As well. Get that centered on there pretty good. This is my old ghetto pot. It's been around for many years. Okay. Oh yeah, got a couple old beers real quick. Let me go grab those. Alright, so I do have a couple old brews here. One from 1997. Got the, this is the second or third one of these that I've drank. It's this provided to me by gabeRILLA. Link to his channel right at the very top of the description as well. But there's also a link to that GoFundMe. I don't know where my phone's at so I can post a link. Oh, my butter tipped over on it. Okay. Post a link in the chat real quick. Paste. There it is. Link to the GoFundMe right there. That's almost at a boil. Anyways, here's a 1997 right here. Look at the date. Sunday, January 26th, 1997. New Orleans, Louisiana at the Superdome. So this beer was produced probably right before that. You know, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, up to a month maybe beforehand. Probably not a month, maybe a month. They might have produced it a month before and sold it a couple weeks later. But I cleaned this one up really good, which I typically don't do. Usually I drink them dirty. This one's nice and clean. As you can see, I cleaned it up. And then also, appropriately so, have this micro-brewed in Canada, imported by G. Radin and Sons Incorporated to Seattle, Washington. This is a Warthog Ale. And like I said, the Canadians, this is a Kraft macaroni and cheese or Kraft dinner. KD is a big, huge thing up there. Way bigger than it even is here. Like I said, the Canadians, they do it, and they do it right. I'd like to have some of those KD flavor things that they got up there. They don't have that stuff down here. Nothing like it that I can think of. There you go. I should have opened both boxes to look at the noodles. But fundamentally, 35 years, I mean, more or less no change here whatsoever. Even the cheese packet looks very similar. The other one had some nice branding on it and stuff, but I will say that this cheese packet doesn't feel like it's got as much cheese in it as the other one had. Will it tell me here on the front? This 5.5 ounces. Let's see over here. Doesn't give me individual weights on the cheese and the noodles. Nope. Anyways, let's dump in the, look how much lighter colored that is than what the other noodles were. They were much darker, almost looked like wheat. That was just oxygen damage, I would assume. That, and this does probably have some of that powder on it, like I talked to you guys about. Exactly 103. So 110. Hour and 10. I will all that macaroni done. Put that cheese out. I missed the Kraft Classic Chicken Dinner. You know, there was a lot of people that fought to bring back some of those Kraft dinner things that, and I think that was one of them. And it did make a return there a couple years ago. The ones that they were fighting for, they petitioned to bring them back, which is something we need to do with the History Channel. Bring back eating history. And I'm supposed to be doing an interview, possibly with Spotify, maybe this week, which will be cool. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, where that interview will end up or anything. I mean, I'm sure it'll end up on Spotify, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. Let me turn this down some. That is, it's a little higher of a boil than I'd like. All right, I'm going to start off with this, what is this, 24-year-old, is it 24? 24-year-old Miller Lite, which this is a, if you're not from America or from around these parts or whatever, this is more of a lower class beer, I would call it. Not bottom of the barrel, but getting pretty low down there. I mean, natural light, natural ice, that type of stuff is pretty bottom of the barrel. That and Old Milwaukee. Look at that. I mean, 24 years old. 24 years old, and it still looks like that. What the heck? Doesn't even smell skunky. That's what I don't understand. That the last time I drank one of these, I was like, man, that thing is, it tastes good. I don't understand it. Dan, or Cyanide Cookies from Australia, says, hey, Smokey, can Watershed have a look at the ingredients on the old box, please? Yes. And thank you for that super chat there, Dan. Here is the ingredients list right there. Enriched, the ingredients are enriched macaroni and then cheese sauce mix which is whey, dehydrated cheese, granular cheddar, milk, which is made of milk, cheese, culture, salt enzymes, and then you got wheat protein, concentrate, skim milk, salt, buttermilk, sodium tripoli, citric acid, yellow 5 coloring, artificial color, and lactic acid. Kraft Incorporated, and contains less than 2% of the U.S. RDA for these nutrients. Sodium levels with 1 teaspoon of salt added to 6 cups cooking water is 600 milligrams per 3/4 cup serving. So that's how you get your sodium levels up there. I'm pretty sure I was supposed to add the salt while it's cooking, if I'm not mistaken. I'm doing that this time. I'll add some after too. Anyway, turn the camera around. I got about 5 minutes to talk to you folks while that cooks. Enjoy a Miller Lite. See, I'm a light guy. Like, I don't know why I prefer the lights over the regulars. I don't know. Just it doesn't bloat me as bad, for one. What's fake news? Yeah, though, they definitely changed the ingredients. 2016, they made a huge change. They removed all the artificial preservatives, all the artificial coloring. It says right on the box here, no artificial flavors, no artificial preservatives, and no artificial dyes. And 2016, they done that. And when they done that, they expected people to be outraged because the flavor changed and it looks different, it tastes different. They just sat back and watched and waited to see what was going to happen. And nothing happened. Nobody even noticed it, which was awesome because they didn't advertise it at all. They didn't put it on the box. They didn't do anything like that. And now they use it as a selling point down the hatch with this stuff here. And thanks again for that super chat there, Dan. Guinness Extra Stout is where it's at. Ugh, no, thank you. I am not a stout guy at all. Not as far as drinking. I'm not a big dark beer type. Nope. I like it to be light. I gotta say, for 24 years old and guaranteed crappy storage conditions, because if you'd have seen this 6-pack when Gabe gave it to me, sticky crap all over it. I mean, it's dirty, it's faded from the sun, so it's definitely had direct sunlight for probably years. This one was a middle can, so it didn't get it as bad. But I've got to say, man, for 24 years old, I can't really tell a difference between this old beer and what would be a fresh one. I mean, it's pretty indistinguishable for me. So. I better stir that pasta. Oh yeah, it's sticking. A little bit, not too bad. Alright. Yeah. I think it's done. I mean, like a solid 6 minutes. A solid 6 minutes and that pasta, it's done. They weren't joking. 9 minutes from the time you dump it into water to the time it hits your table. You could do it. Like, you could definitely do it in 9 minutes and have your family a meal ready to be served on the table in 9 minutes, 1937, just kicking butt and taking names and making them dinners, just pounding them out. Especially during World War II when the women were so heavy in the workforce. That would have been a huge, huge factor in their everyday staple foods. Alright, I'm turning the heat off. Definitely turning the heat off. Now, these noodles look a lot different. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera back around. These noodles definitely fluffed up a lot more than the old ones, as you can kind of see. Let's see if one will stick to the... Ooh, they're hot. see if one will stick to my board back there. Oh, nope, that one. I think it's just too wet. Try it again. Yep. There it is. That, my friends, is pasta al dente. I'm just throwing that in that pot. Heck with it. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of this pasta, put over here. Just for some size comparison here in a few minutes. I'm going to go drain this, and I'll be right back. So it's a big thing with Kraft macaroni and cheese that you do not rinse the pasta after you drain it, because like with spaghetti and some other things like that, you might rinse your pasta, your noodles after you're done. Not with this. You do not. All right, let's start off by adding the butter. Oh. Maybe. There we go. Got 2 tablespoons off of there again, which is going to be about right there. There we go. I always take the paper and then just use the paper, stick it back on the end right there, and fold it over to preserve the rest of the stick. I don't know how y'all do it. That's how I do it. Stick it back in the box, which I will be doing right now. And then as soon as I use this milk, I'm going to take it and put it back in the fridge because it's been sitting out an hour. Right. Let's get our tablespoons of milk out here. Actually, I want to stir in this butter real quick. Good. Put milk up in there. Any indication from the last one, I will want more. So I went ahead and added it. Guess my milk was sweating pretty bad because it left a nice wet spot back there. Alright. Give this a mix. Add some salt. There we go. Looking pretty good, I gotta say. Smells smells about the same as the old. Honestly, the old smelled very, very similar, if not exactly the same. It just looked different with that oxidation happening with the noodle itself. Definitely had changed colors. It was a much darker color, and that could have been bug parts or something maybe causing that. I don't really know. I mean, obviously there was some oxidation happening there, but there also could have been a bug piece factor. A lot of bug pieces factored in there. And hopefully people that rewatch this, they can skip around and skip through the live stream to watch the more interesting parts. And I do feel like I delivered a decent little bit of a history lesson throughout this macaroni and cheese experiment. And I do want to find another vintage mac and cheese, if not older than this one. Now, I do want to try these noodles on their own, like I tried the last ones, and see how they are. Oh, that is so much different. Yeah. Okay. So those didn't have that really nice fresh pasta flavor and texture and everything. This is soaking up the butter and the milk a lot better, I feel like. I mean, I could honestly eat the pasta just on its own. I mean, here in America, where we add so much butter and milk to it already anyway, kind of makes it unhealthy for you, but edible without the cheese. Look at that cheese. Let's take a look. Now, that's with no artificial dyes. This is just with paprika and another spice added for the color. I want to try. I'm going to lick that off my hand. That reminds me of like a Cheeto dust. Like a Cheeto flavoring or something that... Interesting. It's so bright yellow. The color is so pronounced. Minnie, go on. Go on. Alright. Man, that color, guys. Woo. It's almost scary looking. I mean, the other one actually looks... I guess more natural. Just the brown is more natural looking than this bright yellow color. Get this. It's going to take a minute to mix all that cheese sauce in there really good, but it's definitely looking more like traditional mac and cheese dinner than the previous one. That's for sure. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. It's going to end up needing more milk again, just to get the cheese sauce to incorporate, because it's staying clumped up. See it? I don't know if you guys can tell really so much on. You can kind of see it in the camera, not so much as I can see it in person. I'm going to add just a touch more milk like I did last time to kind of... I like mine to be a little bit on the runnier side than the thick side anyway. So it's all kind of to your own taste. Same with the salt. Or the butter, for that matter. It's not a requirement. It's not something you have to have. I don't even think they use it in the Canadian version, if I'm not mistaken. But that looks more like how I like it. Right there. Wouldn't call it runny, but a lot more of a smoother consistency. We're almost there. It's almost all incorporated in there. Alright. Well, here we go. Big old bite of Kraft macaroni and cheese spirals is what these are. Down the hatch. Wow, the difference. This over here had lost so much of its flavor. It was so bland and gritty. You can kind of see all those spots on the side. And I stirred and stirred and stirred at it. Just would not dissolve and incorporate. What is it? Same with me, Smokey. A little bit more milk. Yeah. I mean, it's like perfect for me right now. It's like, see that? It's got a nice sauce to it. Kind of not too thick, but it's also got a runny factor to it. It's just about where it needs to be. I mean, obviously the difference is night and day, but I think a lot of that has to do with that puncture hole that it got. Unfortunately, I don't know if that was the pure cause of the chaos over here, or if it was just age that done that to this cheese powder. I mean, over here, this is definitely something you could sink your teeth into. Cheesy, creamy. Pasta's perfectly al dente. And you can still feed your family for like 25 cents a person, I think, is what they consider. I guess it's a little bit more than that. Have to check. I think this box only has 2 servings. So yeah, it would take 2 boxes. So 50 cents per person for a 4-person family. Because a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese is $1 at Walmart. I think is where my son picked it up for me at. Definitely an interesting experiment, in my opinion. The stuff from 35 years ago definitely tasted better when you ate it fresh at the time. Oh, yeah, there ain't no doubt about that. This probably tasted just like this almost. Except this is the type with no artificial colors, no artificial preservatives, and no artificial dyes. Well, dyes, colors, or preservatives. Flavors. Artificial flavors, artificial preservatives, or dyes. None of the 3. I'm going back in. I'm going back in for another bite, I guess. I'm gonna just, you know what? We're just gonna do this. Both of them on the spoon together. You can see the newer noodles are a little bit larger. They did absorb the water better. They absorbed the flavor of the cheese better. And they did... I don't know how to explain this, but they softened up a little bit more. They're cooked exactly the same, except the old ones just didn't soften up the same as what these did at the same al dente level. Then a little bit underdone. So, I don't know here. I'm going to try them both together. Oh, no. Huh. Well, setting out definitely does not help it. The fresh does help it, like the longer I chew on it, but initially the hit of this, the grittiness of this is something I can't get over. You know, I'm a texture eater, and the texture that's inside of that, the grittiness of that cheese powder is just something I can't get over. So... thanks for the mention, friend. Oldsmokey Watershed 44. What did I mention? Oh, I just read. Okay. Nick, is that you, buddy? I don't know if that's... Are you Nick, Gabe's buddy? Nick? By any chance? I'm just munching down on that new stuff. I mean, it's good. It's freezing cold out there, bus stop. I know it was 62 degrees here last night whenever I was out at like 11:30. I think it was. Something like that. So it's getting cold kind of early, in my opinion. Kind of early in the year. It's starting to get pretty chilly at night. I mean, tell me that right there wouldn't have been a meal for a single bachelor back in '97 or 87, 86, 87, whatever year that was, 86 or 87. Wow, 80 right now in the southeast at 10 p.m. So down around Florida, Georgia, South Carolina area. Oldsmokey, I've looked after the cold weather long enough. Time to swap. There ain't no way it's gotten that cold over there, has it, Dan? Cyanide cookies? So before I forget again, guys, that the link to that GoFundMe is right there at the very top of my description. I keep losing my phone underneath this butter, and I've got to go put this milk up. It's been sitting out for too long, in my opinion. This butter's soft too. I'll be right back, guys. I can't do anything for you right now, guys. Oh, I don't know what's on TV. I just saw Dustin Hoffman over there. Anyways, right there is the link to that GoFundMe yet again, guys. And everybody that sent something in to go to the GoFundMe tonight, I'll be converting that over as soon as I can over to the GoFundMe. So, Tasmania is considered the cold part of Australia. It's cold enough over the winter. Excuse me. Overnight, we'll sometimes get down to freezing or within a few degrees of it. That is not really cold. I mean, I can't say it gets super cold here where I live, but, bouncing off the freezing, 32 degrees here, I think 0 Celsius is pretty mild. We see some pretty negative temperatures, negative Fahrenheit temperatures here, or we used to. A lot. We don't see them as often, but it does get cold here and stay cold here for at least typically about 3 months. Sean at the Ration Museum says 55 below in Montana. This is the coldest he had to experience. Which is, if you don't know, 55 below in Fahrenheit, that is ridiculously cold. That is danger cold. I can't imagine without the proper attire, without the proper gloves, jacket, undergarments. I can't say you probably wouldn't last no more than 5 or 10 minutes out. Like if you were just go out in a t-shirt, jeans, and your boots or whatever, I'll bet you wouldn't last about 5-10 minutes out in 55 below, if you'd even last that long before your body would lock up. I don't know how long you'd live after that, but couldn't be too awful long. I mean that's brutal cold temperatures. I think the coldest I've ever seen here. We had a winter about, I'm going to say 10 years ago, where the Ohio River froze over, which it never does this. It froze completely over, there were boats going up and down the river because I was working out on the river at the time, and they were busting paths up down the center until they couldn't bust through anymore. The ice got so thick and they had to stop traveling up and down the river. I want to say it got down to like -20 here for about a week solid, and then it stayed right around 0 for like another 3 weeks or so. It got really cold and stayed cold here for a long time, which was pretty unusual for it to stay that cold for that long in a continuous period. Some of the coldest I've ever experienced was up in Pennsylvania, up in the Poconos. Loved it up there, though. I was up there staying at a ski resort. Lived up there for about a year. Great place, great people. I'd love to go back and re-experience that whole experience again. Such a good time. But yeah, I could foresee this being a budget meal for a single guy back in the day, back in 1987, 97 era, that 10-year period. Even now, really, for that matter, things haven't really changed that much. Paddlefish. Made me think. My Uncle Red used to call my little sister Paddlefoot. Paddlefoot. Called me Frog. I don't know why he called me that. But he always had nicknames for everybody. Talk about the quintessential redneck, my Uncle Red. He was as redneck as they come. He had goats. He used goat milk for everything, made goat cheese. Lived in a little 2-room cabin type deal thing that he scrapped together. I guess he somewhat lived a little bit of a farm life, but alcohol was more important than having good housing and I guess nice electronics and things like that. He was a drinker, boy, I'll tell you. He drank a lot. Looking back, man, I've thought about it. I've thought if he didn't drink so much, I wonder if he could have lived a little better. But he kind of raised me. He babysat me a lot whenever I was real young. Yeah, this is it's been a long time since I've ate this Kraft macaroni and cheese like that. I mean, it's been years. I can't even remember the last time I ate that. Well, I actually ate it like I'm eating it right now. My kids would fix a thing of it, like a thing of the little instant things. I might take a bite of theirs or something, but that'd be about it. All right, come on. Well, I didn't really need to, I mean, this turned out to be a pretty decent video, or a live stream, I feel like. Whew, I'm full of that macaroni and cheese, I can tell you that. And I didn't have to break into this, this 2001 9/11 era MRE here of Jambalaya, menu number 2, Jambalaya. Which, 2001, there were some pretty interesting items in MREs, which I look forward to checking out. And if you guys are interested in seeing this, I mean, I might do this on a live stream next week or something. Excuse me. And if it ain't no good, I'll have this yellow curry with chicken and rice as a backup. And it sucked because I checked out at Cabela's. Was it Cabela's? I can't remember. Well, anyways, when I checked out, the freaking thing rang up for $8, and I was like, these were on sale. They were 20% off, and there was nothing advertising that or anything. I just found out when I checked out, and I did not feel like going back and getting more. I wish I would have now, though. I mean, I feel stupid for not going back and getting more and more varieties, because this is literally the only one that I bought just because I thought that I might like the yellow curry, and if I liked it, I'd buy more later. But this, and there was, what was the other one? Sticky Fingers just reviewed it. Another one that I was thinking about getting. But I can have this as backup to the Jambalaya from from 2001. It's 2001. The 9/11 era ration MRE. But yeah, this is the new revamped restyling that Mountain House has went through. And if you guys have seen their new Pro Packs, they're not vacuum sealed, which I hate. If you're going to be paying extra for the Pro Pack, if you're going to be paying extra for, just barely a difference in the nutritional content, they need to vacuum pack them for the guys that are using those things for backpacking and traveling, to save them that extra space, because this thing, with all the extra air and crap in there, I mean, that takes up a lot of space for 13 grams of protein. I mean, 13 grams of protein is not bad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's like, what, roughly a third of your daily value, what you need. But this is also two servings. So is it 13 grams per serving, or is it 13 grams for the whole thing? Let's see here. Where's our protein at? It's the very bottom. Oh, 27 grams in the whole thing. Okay. You see that? 37% if you eat this whole package. That's not as bad. 13 grams for one. So, yeah, that's not as bad. So it's like 13.5 to come out to 27 in the other one. Now you can bring one of your favorite curry dishes with you wherever you go. We combined our signature yellow curry with chicken, zucchini, peas, and red peppers to bring you the delicious taste of Thailand. Satisfy your appetite and taste buds with our most adventurous and delicious dishes yet. Our convenient just add water prep in the pouch means that you have more time to do what you love without the hassle of cooking and cleaning up. The durable lightweight pouches are easy to pack and carry. Dozens of classic recipes options give you the variety and comfort you crave as you set out in the morning or at the end of the long day. How do we do it? We only use the highest quality ingredients and cook our meals the old-fashioned way, allowing the flavors to blend naturally. The result is home-cooked goodness no matter where you are. Mountain House Adventure Meals has been trusted by outdoor enthusiasts for over 50 years. In the preparation instructions, what's our Best By date here? Best By December 2050. Holy crap. 2050. So that kind of sucks. That's not a 30-year shelf life. It's 28 or 29 year shelf life. Well, December 2050. This was probably made in December. Does it say? Is that 20361? Is that our date? Somehow 2020, the 361st day. I'll bet it is. I guarantee it is December. So the very end of 2020 is when this was produced. And I just bought this. So this has been sitting in the store or on shelves for almost, over 6 months. That must have been why it was on sale. Actually, I just bought this. It's been, it was August. So it's been sitting on the shelf for 8 months. Yahoo is seriously almost 70. Who's Yahoo? What's Yahoo? You mean what now? Made that movie about Einstein hooking up with Madame Curie. Uh, just paying attention to the chat now. Going to chat with you guys some. I have made somewhat of a mess on the table. Not too bad, though. I forgot about this. I don't know if Dub C would happen to still be in the chat. I doubt he is. But if Dub C would happen to be in the chat, he sent along this nut roll. And I'm curious if this nut roll, this chocolate nut roll, is one that came from a lot of these. There was a guy that had a bunch of these chocolate nut rolls for sale. He was selling them in like lots of 10. He had tons of these things. And they were perfectly edible. And I don't know if I have it right here or not. I used to have it right here. Shocker 71. If you guys don't know who Shocker is, go check out Shocker 71's channel. Link in my description. But he sent me, or no, he gave it to me in person, I think. Last time we were at Bob's. He gave me one of the chocolate nut rolls that's edible, so I still have that. What's up, Michael Z? Mike Z? Mike Z. Mike Z? Hey, if you guys don't mind, hit that thumbs up or down. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. Just let Google know what you're thinking. I always forget to say that until like towards the end. I should start off by saying, reminder, plug here, self-promotion, hit the thumbs up or down. Either way, let Google know what you're thinking. And yeah, so I do have high hopes of creating some interesting content outside of the some stuff that's kind of like this, but I want to make it really short when I do it. I want to do like some literally 30-second and 1-minute clips so I can post on shorts and put some stuff on TikTok. And I want to do some interesting food facts. Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's play some while I'm standing here smoking a cigarette. Let's play some trivia, guys. So here's the rules and regulations of trivia. Please do not use your phone to look up the answer. Put your answer in the chat as quickly as possible. I'll ask you to keep your own score. We'll go out of 20 questions, and out of the 20 questions, if you get 20 right, then you're the winner. Then you're going to be tied for first or in first or whatever. We're going on the honor system here. It's just playing for fun, and I think this is something that could be interesting. So, put your answer in there. I'll give you 10 to 12 seconds, something like that, to answer. And then we'll move on to the next question. And we will start off. Here, let me turn the camera around here. Number one is what is the USA's favorite flavor of ice cream? Put your answer right here in the chat as soon as you have a guess or an answer. The United States' favorite flavor of ice cream. And after the 10 seconds is up, I'll give you the answer. Whatever you think it might be. Take a guess. Any guess is good. And, yep, seeing chocolate, vanilla. Viper says cookie dough. Any other variations of guesses down through there? Please tell gabeRILLA over here. Something must have happened. So, the answer is vanilla. Yes, vanilla. Classic Pall Mall watershed, 44. The Pall Mall full flavor. Okay. Where would you find gumbo? These are all U.S. related, so just so you know, that's the premise of these questions. These are U.S. food questions, and we will go down through the list. Take your guess. Any guess will work, and keep your score. A lot of you guys are definitely hitting it on the nose. The answer to that one is Louisiana. So New Orleans is famous for a dish that incorporates French, Spanish, and Caribbean influences. What is that dish called? This is a perfect question. So we got 3 guesses so far. The answer is jambalaya. How convenient, right? So perfect. Okay, on to number 4. Which is the only United States state to grow coffee beans? What's the only U.S. state to grow coffee beans? Any idea? Anybody got a guess for this one? This is one that I did not know myself. Again, we're just going to go on the honor system. Put your answer in the chat as quick as you know it, and after about 10 seconds, I'll give the answer out. If you don't have a guess, if you couldn't come up with a guess, then just that's one question you missed. It's not a big deal. I played some trivia recently, and I got plenty wrong. Got 4 wrong, and it was American history. So the answer is Hawaii. A lot of you guys got that one right. Hawaii is the answer. So you need a definite tropical environment where it stays hot, or mildly hot and hot year round. What is the national alcoholic drink of the USA? What is the national alcoholic drink of the USA? Any guess will do. I lost my chat. Lots of beer, whiskey, beer. You guys are going to be surprised at this one, I think. So the national alcoholic drink of the USA, believe it or not, is bourbon. Of course, bourbon whiskey. You got. Sorry about the focus, guys. It's the reverse camera sucks, but national alcoholic drink of the United States is bourbon. Bourbon whiskey, guys. Here's a good one. Where in the United States was the cheeseburger born? Where was the cheeseburger born? Which state? Mountain Dew would almost be right, because old Mountain Dew used to be old moonshine whiskey. Miss Marilyn says New York. James says Wisconsin. Curious Pete says Massachusetts. Joseph says Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Texas, Wisconsin, New Jersey. I have not seen a correct answer. The correct answer to that, surprisingly, is Colorado. Colorado is the answer to where was the cheeseburger born. Okay, so the state of Georgia is the 3rd largest producer of which fruit? Which fruit is Georgia the largest producer of? The 3rd largest producer of? This is something I think most of you guys can probably get this one. When you think of Georgia being a fruit producer, what fruit would Georgia be the 3rd largest producer of? Joseph. No, it's peaches. Georgia peach. Of course, the Georgia peach. What is the iconic meal that is often found in Chicago? What iconic meal is often found in Chicago? I'll give you guys a minute to guess. This is a pretty specific answer, I must say. So I see quite a few correct answers. The correct answer is deep dish pizza. Deep dish pizza is iconic with Chicago. Chicago, I don't know that it was invented in Chicago, but it's definitely been adapted to be the most iconic dish of Chicago. I know the first time I went to Chicago, that was the first thing that I wanted to have was a Chicago deep dish pizza, and it ain't like pizza. Let me just say that it's not really like pizza. It's more um, like a bready lasagna, kind of doughy lasagna, in my opinion. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Um, what is the most frequently ordered item? What is the most frequently ordered item of food in the United States? The most frequently ordered food item in the United States. This is one that's probably going to get you guys because it's something that I wouldn't have guessed this. So I'm giving you guys hints as we go. I see taco, cheese sticks, Chinese food, burger. I seen pizza and pizza. So interestingly enough, the most frequently ordered food item in the United States, believe it or not, is fried chicken. Fried chicken is the most frequently ordered food item in the United States, believe it or not. Do you guys know where Coca-Cola was first served? Where was Coca-Cola first served? Which state was Coca-Cola first served in? This would have to be a guess on my part, because I don't know my Coca-Cola history as well as what I should. Because Coca-Cola is one of those iconic American food items, I guess you could, that, I should know the history of a little better. James says, got me on the fried chicken. Yeah, I didn't expect that to be the most. Honestly, my guess would have been French fries. I thought French fries would have been the most frequently ordered food item in the United States. So looking for the state, and if you can get even more specific than that, then good on you. But the first state that Coca-Cola was ever served in, which would have been at like a soda fountain shop, a soda shop, was in Georgia. Which state is sometimes referred to as the popcorn state of the USA? Which state is commonly referred to as the popcorn state of the United States, of the USA? This one, I don't know. I don't know the answer to this one. A lot of folks are thinking the same in the chat, which you can all see the chat, so it's not like me reading it out loud's a bad thing. A lot of folks are guessing Iowa. So the state that's commonly referred to as the popcorn state in the USA is actually Indiana. Indiana. Obviously they grow some popcorn in there is what it sounds like. It's definitely one that I didn't and wouldn't know the answer to. Okay, so Iowa is what capital of the world? What food item is Iowa the capital of the world? So, like Chicago, the capital of deep dish pizza of the world. So what is Iowa the capital of the world, food item-wise? This kind of actually ties back into one of the earlier questions. I see corn, tofu, corn flakes. some maize. I see potato, squirrel, ice. Michael Z. The answer: Iowa is the ice cream capital of the world. Iowa is the ice cream capital of the world. Believe it or not. Um, Here we go. What is the official state pie of Florida? What is the official state pie of Florida? Some of you guys out there are probably going to know this, especially if you're from Florida, or if you spend a lot of time down in Florida, or maybe even if you make desserts on a regular basis. Kaylin says, I live here and I never knew that. Joseph says alligator. Michael Z says key lime. Marilyn says key lime. Mike says pecan. Adam says got a bottle of key lime in the fridge. Key lime pie is the state pie of Florida. Key lime pie is the state pie of Florida. If you guys can't get this one, what is the most popular pizza topping in the USA? What is the most popular pizza topping in the USA? In my opinion, it's one of the only pizza toppings that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of them that make sense, I guess. I've topped my pizzas with so many things that some things I didn't like, some things I liked more than others. But this is an iconic one that I feel like is a staple. And if your pizza doesn't have this, then what are you doing with your pizza? It's not a pizza. I see a lot of folks got this one correct, and the answer to this one is definitely pepperoni. Without pepperoni, I feel like what do you? It's not really a pizza, is it? Without pepperoni, the flavor that pepperoni adds to pizza, in my opinion, I don't know how it could taste like a pizza without it. Robert says not a fan. Some people don't like pepperoni. I know a lot of people that eat cheese pizzas. Not a lot. I know a few people that prefer a cheese pizza over a pepperoni pizza. But I'm a pepperoni guy all the way. So, how many U.S. states have adopted a fruit pie as their official state dish? So it's a number. How many states have adopted a fruit pie as their official state dish? Seeing some big numbers. 53. I see 12 and 13 and 53. 8, 9, 6. 1, 2. See 22 and 6. Jason says negative 12. So believe it or not, it's only 3. I thought it was going to be more than that. Honestly, I thought, apple pie, key lime pie, things like that. I definitely thought we were going to look at a bigger number than. Only 3 states have adopted a pie as their official state dish. Only 3. What cheese would you find on a Reuben sandwich? This one I think is pretty easy. What is the cheese that you would find on a classic Reuben sandwich? Joseph says Swiss. Mike says Swiss. Ration Museum said provolone. Seeing Jason again said Swiss. Wyoming said Swiss. Joe said Swiss. Bo said Swiss. And James also said Swiss is the correct answer. Swiss is the correct answer. Which popular U.S. dish features a sauce made of sausage drippings, flour, and milk? A lot of you northerners ain't going to know this one. Which popular U.S. dish features a sauce made from sausage drippings, flour, and milk? Any ideas? Like I said, a lot of you guys from up north are probably not going to know what the answer to this one is. Phoenix says gravy, baby. White gravy, says James. Kaylin says biscuits and gravy. Chicken fried steak, biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy, and I'm from Wisconsin. Well, you know, Wisconsin, there's some country folk up here in Wisconsin, so and you're close enough to some country states, I would say. Gravy is definitely the answer there. Biscuits and gravy, 100%. You know, that's something I've grown up with, but it's also something. Okay, so McDonald's around here serves biscuits and sausage gravy. Like it's a staple. It's something that you see everywhere. If I go to Columbus, which is about a 2-hour drive north from here, and I ask someone at McDonald's for biscuits and gravy, which I have done before, they look at me like I'm stupid. They look at me like, what is that? Where would you get biscuits and gravy at McDonald's? Like, down here, it's just a normal thing. And West Virginia is actually not, quote unquote, a southern state. We were technically a Union state when it comes to the Civil War, which is technically where you get North and South from. But I've always considered West Virginia to be more of a southern state as far as like the types of foods we eat and things like that. You know, I mean, lots of moonshine around here. That's a southern thing. Lots of country dialect. You know, got the accents and all that. You know what I mean? Like it's always seemed like West Virginia is more of a southern type state. I guess the northern panhandle maybe and the upper peninsula of West Virginia where you get up into like Maryland and, you know, almost to DC. Maybe up in those areas it's different. I don't know. I've not spent much time up in there, so. Which state would you eat a luau? A luau? Wait, what? All right, this one's got, I don't even know how to pronounce this. L-A-U, L-A-U. Is that lua? Which state would you eat lua in? I mean, that only sounds like one place that I know of that would have even a word like that of something that you would eat. Am I pronouncing that correct? Oh, it's a luau? Is that how you pronounce? Is that how you spell that? I've never even seen that written out, I guess. L-A-U, L-A-U. So I guess that's luau, which is obviously it's Hawaii. Hawaii's the answer. I thought it was luau, but I don't know. It just doesn't look right when I try to read it. It doesn't look right. I actually know the answer to this one because we dealt with a lot. Well, the answer to this was in Eating History. If you guys watched Eating History, you might know the answer to this. Where and when was the chocolate chip cookie invented? Where and when was the chocolate chip cookie invented? Yeah, this is definitely a good one from Eating History. That ties right into the show. And this is when Josh cooked up that brick of cookie dough turd that, I mean, it tasted and smelled like a deuce. It was bad. Everybody's saying no clue. Philly 1932. Third Eye says. Any guess will do, but I'll tell you guys the answer. It was Massachusetts in 1930. And I do believe that's when Duncan Hines came up with the chocolate chip cookie from the recipe. They accidentally dumped some chocolate chips over into a sugar cookie mix, and she baked them up. I can't remember what the woman's name was. She baked them up, and chocolate chip cookies were eventually born from that accident. Which president brought mac and cheese back to the United States, and where did he bring it from? I know the answer to this one. I don't know if you guys will be able to guess where it came from. Curious Pete says Jefferson and France. And then I see Kaylin says England. Bo says I saw all the eating history episodes too. Awesome. James says France. Phoenix says it was Taft. Adam says Jackson and Turkey. James says Nixon. Laugh out loud. That was definitely too late. France and Trump. Nope. So this is actually was part of tonight's live stream. Actually, I didn't even bring this up because I didn't feel that it tied in so much to the Kraft mac and cheese story, because it didn't really come full circle. But Thomas Jefferson did bring back the taste for macaroni and cheese from France, and he liked it so well that he chartered a ship from France full of nothing but elbow macaroni and brought macaroni and cheese to the United States, served it in the White House, and I think it was his sister-in-law that made a cookbook like 40 years later, something like that, 40 years after his presidency. And when she made this cookbook, she put in macaroni and cheese in the cookbook, and it was 3 simple ingredients. It was the elbow macaroni, milk, and cheese. That was it. That's all she had as the ingredients, and I mean, it's pretty simple. That's still pretty much close to what it is. So, Thomas Jefferson first tried mac and cheese in Paris, France, and brought the recipe back to the United States with him. That's what the answer says. Which city in Germany gives its name to one of the United States' favorite foods? Which city in Germany gives its name to one of the USA's favorite foods? I don't know if you guys will be able to guess this one or not. Oh, Ration Museum. That's good too, actually. I guess technically both of those answers could be correct. Hamburg is the correct answer as far as they're considered that wrote up this trivia. But Frankfurt could be one as well. Although here we kind of call them hot dogs. So, which alcoholic drink is spelled with an E in the United States and in Ireland, but without one in the rest of the world? So in Ireland and the United States, it's spelled with an E. The rest of the world spells it without an E. It's an alcoholic drink. This one is going to blow your mind. Because, in my opinion, this only makes sense. I am seeing Whiskey from Kaylin and Whiskey from Cyanide Cookies. Adam said absinthe. Tim McAfee says whiskey with one Y and no E. Whiskey with no E and one Y. Tequila, James says. The correct answer is whiskey. Correct answer is whiskey. In the United States and in Ireland, I mean, I've only ever known it to be spelled with an E. Whiskey, like key at the end. Man, that focus is really driving me crazy. But everywhere else in the world, no E, just the Y at the end. Peach pie is the national dessert of which state? Peach pie is the national dessert of which state? I guess it'd be the state dessert. Yeah, it'd be the state dessert, not national. Even though they worded it as national. Peach pie is the state dessert of which state? That would have been my guess too, is Georgia. North Carolina. I see 3 Georgias, 4 Georgias, and we got key lime again there. We got Florida. Florida's key lime, actually. Key lime pie is their state pie. It's actually Delaware, of all places. Delaware has adopted it as their dessert, national dessert. Which food item do you need a doctor's note to purchase after 6 p.m. in Newark? After 6 p.m., you need a doctor's note to purchase this dessert item. This is an old, one of those old laws that are on the books that they haven't changed since 100 years ago, and they make no sense now. You know what I mean? It's so silly. But which dessert do you have to have a doctor's note for to purchase after 6 p.m. in Newark? Believe it or not, it's ice cream. Ice cream. I'm kind of come full circle back to that first question. One more question. Oh. Actually, I've met a descendant of the person. Anyways. What nationality was the person who invented the hot dog? If you guys have watched my channel for a long time, you guys will know that back whenever I was filming Eating History, and we were filming at McSorley's. So McSorley's actually, they serve technically the first ever invented hot dog. And it goes back to Feldman's. Feldman's is the original hot dog inventor's name. And Nathan's actually stole the recipe from Feldman's. It's Feldman's, I think. Feldman's or Feldman's? Can't remember. I think it's Feldman's. They make their own mustard, their own hot dogs. Their hot dogs are amazing. The answer, Feldman's, it's German. German is the answer. That was a cool one too, because that tied in Eating History as well. So, okay, one more question. How many cans of sodas does the average American drink per year? How many cans of soda does the average American drink per year? I don't know the answer to this. The average American. 7,263, Curious Pete says. I see 27, 100, 300, 280, 200. 365, which is one a day. I see 800 from Wyoming Adventures, 300 from Kalen, and James Ortiz says 500. Believe it or not, the answer to how many cans of soda does the average American drink per year is 600. Almost 2 a day. Like 1.8 a day is the average. So I can tell you I average that, I'm sure. And I need to stop drinking soda altogether. But I'm going to wrap that up for the trivia. I thought that was fun, guys. You can tally your scores up and see. Put your scores here in the chat and see who got the most correct and who got the most, you see where you're lining up on the scale there. We did do 26 questions. So however many out of 26 you got right is the number you can put there. I thought that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. Adam says my score was 2. Yeah, that's cool though. Yeah, I thought it was fun. Miss Kaylin is going live after this, so after I do my cleanup, I'll try to stop over there, Miss Kaylin, Kaylin Strain. I do believe there is a link to Miss Kaylin's channel down in my description. If you guys need a link to that or have trouble finding it, you can find it right down in my description. Don't forget about the GoFundMe. If you guys want to help out on the GoFundMe, there's a link to it right at the very top of the description. Just click on the description. I will go ahead and put another link to the GoFundMe right now. I'll tell you real quick, Gabe's childhood friend, his mom is in the hospital right now with COVID in the ICU. She's not doing well. She's the breadwinner for the family, and she's got 2 disabled children, and her other son that was Gabe's friend had to come back home and take care of the kids and trying to keep the house from going underwater. So that's the whole goal there, is just to keep the house from going underwater. They're projecting her to be in the hospital for a while, and that's, like I said, Gabe would not come to me and ask me for help like this unless it was something that he really felt was worthy, and that's why I have no problems at all passing this along. You know, if you guys feel like doing your good deed for the day, go over and drop $1, if nothing else, and don't forget to hit that like or dislike, thumb up or down. You know, don't forget to do that before you take off. I want to say a huge thanks to my patrons as well. Thank you guys so much for hanging in over there and helping me out. I have saved up over there for so long that I'm going to actually, I think I'm not going to buy anything for the channel over there. I'm going to use that money for getting production going and having someone help me film and someone help me edit. I've actually gotten a resource for that, as I talked about last week. It's a college professor up here at Athens. His students are always looking for that type of work, and of course I'm not going to be able to pay them very much, but if they want some work, and if they do a good job, I mean, I'll definitely promote their work and their business as well as, you know, try to pay them what I can, and see if we can't get some content rolling out. Like I said, I want to try to do some 30-second and 1-minute clips, and do some short content and maybe some 10-minute or less videos. I do have some really iconic ration items that need to be given as much attention as I possibly can when they are filmed and reviewed. So quite a few of those, I think 3 of the major items that I need to get to came from B Temple, and then there's been a few items from a few other people that will definitely get their recognition whenever I do the reviews. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope this was a fun live stream for you guys. I enjoyed it. I thought this was definitely something different. My, look at the difference in those. So much different. It's unreal, the difference between the old mac and cheese and the new. Even cold, the new's still tasting good, though. But alright, guys. If you like this, don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. Miss Marilyn, I did not. I checked the mail. I checked the mail late. I checked it yesterday just to make sure. It didn't come on Saturday. It did not come on Saturday. So I checked it Friday. I checked it Saturday just to make sure I didn't miss it. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you thought of this. Leave a comment behind if you watch this later. Definitely feel free to skip through this, you know, the boring parts that aren't as fun when you're not watching it live. You know, watching it live is interactive. We get to interact with each other. It's a lot. It's fun. You know, it's fun for everybody. I have a great time doing this. And like I said, hopefully I'll have an interview up on Spotify here soon. That might happen this week, from what I understand. But yeah, man, this was super interesting to check out, this old mac and cheese, and I'm going to be on the hunt. I know it might sound silly. Next time I won't give so much of a history lesson, but we will check out an old macaroni and cheese that hopefully the cheese packet in it hasn't been punctured, and maybe we can find out if it can possibly hold up if the cheese packet doesn't get punctured. You know what I mean? So it looked like that was like a double laminate packaging, looked like aluminum foil and paper wrapped. Actually, might have been tri-laminate. Might have been plastic on there too. I'd have to go back and check that old package. I don't know what I've done with it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in about a week. And again, thanks to my patrons. And I guess now really all I got left to do is say thank you guys for watching. And I'll see y'all on the next live stream. Later.